Welcome back to the Neville Goddard Podcast. My name is Mr. 2020. And today we're going to talk about Bob, because Bob and I shared a really cool conversation many moons ago, where we explored his real problem was imaginal. It wasn't money. Bob felt his real problem was money. He wanted extra money to do what mattered most. And Bob discovered that his real problem wasn't money. His real problem was imaginal. This is so good. I don't know what else to say, except enjoy the podcast and join us at ManifestingMasteryCourse.com. Why would I say that now? Go find out. See ya. So it would have been about 10 years ago. I woke up one morning, I poured the coffee, I sat in the Ames chair, I did what I do. And I got an email from Bob. That's not his real name, you know that. But Bob had real problems. And Bob said, my real problem is money. And Bob and I had a cool little discussion where we explored. And Bob got to notice his real problem wasn't money. His real problem was imaginal. And that didn't make his problems, it didn't make his symptoms any less real. But it enabled him to start getting real-world results. See, I want you to notice, how do you process things? Because a state is how you experience what you experience. And it's just like when I talk about $97 for a 90-day program, that's $1 a day. Now, it's a lot more effective if you just simply come to that conclusion. Because for a lot of people, they go, $100 is a lot of money. I don't know where I'm going to get the extra money from. And here's what I notice. When people think that it's the extra money that they need to get, they often consider themselves to be an extra. In other words, they're not the center of their lives. Whenever you're in the pattern of extra, I don't have the extra money. I can't figure out how to get the extra money. You're playing an extra when you should be playing the star. You're the star of your production. This month in Remarkable, we're diving into the Four Mighty Ones. And in the Four Mighty Ones, one of the things that we get to explore is you are the star. You are the star of your show. You're not an extra. The scene isn't happening to you. You're not just background. You're the star. And you get to explore being the star by actually noticing you can change in an instant. It doesn't take long, hard work. You can change in an instant. You can watch. Victoria and I love watching how when people share the shooting of The Matrix, the shooting of, whatever really cool movie you want to watch, The Godfather, right? And whenever they show the actors screwing up their lines, or they show the director showing, no, do it a little different, do it this way. You can change in the twinkle of an eye, just like an actor changes the way he expresses a line in the twinkle of an eye. It doesn't take months, it doesn't take years. You're the star. You're the twinkle. All right, let's keep going. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to start exploring how to think differently, because your thinking comes from your state. See, there's this common thought. Thoughts produce things, and that's bullshit. Because if thoughts produce things, like all these people that just talk a lot, these guys that are just talking heads would be producing all kinds of change in the world. See, imaginal experience changes physical experience. Imaginal experience changes mental experience. Let that sink in. Whenever you honestly get, I'm the star of the show. I'm not an extra. I'm not the background. Whenever you honestly start to decide what's true about you. Are you a person who settles for excuses? Or are you someone who dives into excellence? You see, I love sharing excellence with my wife, with my family. There's nothing worse to me than having somebody call up and just want to give you all their excuses as to why their day sucks. The only thing worse than that is you doing it to yourself. But what if you made one tiny shift today? What if you decided, you know what, I'm the star of the show? What if you decided to just try that on as a state? You're not an extra. You're the star of the show. And you don't need extra to do anything, much less invest in education. God, if you knew what I invest in education, it would cook your noodle. Because when I find someone to learn from, I decide to learn from them. And I just make wild investments. Maybe you've noticed, I don't settle for mediocrity. Neither should you. So here's the deal, gang. I want you to really explore something as simple as it's $97 for a 90-day program. That's $1 a day. It takes about 10, maybe 15 minutes max per day. The average lesson's less than 10 minutes. And we say, hey, play with it a couple times. Play with it 3 times today for 3 minutes. It averages out to about 15 minutes a day. See, when you stop settling for excuses, when you stop and be still and notice I was going to slide into an excuse, you can embrace excellence instead. Here's what I want you to do. I want you tonight and every night to go to bed and imagine feeling satisfied and accomplished and satisfied and accomplished and satisfied and accomplished. I want you to get so in love with that you get loopy. Because when you fall in love, you get loopy in a lovely way. When you're not in love, you engage in the art of inner argument. $97. You imagine arguing with somebody because you decided to invest. You imagine arguing with yourself because you're not sure if you can do it. I'm not sure. What if I'm different? I gotta tell you, you imagine something effectively to listen to the sound of my voice. You imagine something effectively to get to where you are today. When you explore the science of imagining effectively, when you realize that it's an art form too, and that only comes from changing your experience. So here's the deal, gang. Imaginal experience leads physical experience. It's not that thoughts produce things. You don't have to get into alignment with anything. All you need to do is to change your imaginal experience. And we take you through a 90-day adventure of doing that with ManifestingMasteryCourse.com. And that to me is the beauty of this, because in the amount of time it took you to listen to this podcast, you could have done your first or your 50th ManifestingMasteryCourse.com lesson. They're that short. The difference is, a podcast is me just sharing whatever's on my mind based upon your emails, based upon memories that pop up while I'm sitting here in the rain. I'm in the portable disposable hot tub right now, and it's raining outside. It's lovely. And this conversation with Bob pops in because Bob went on to do the course. Bob went on to change his life. Bob went on to stop settling for excuses and inner arguments. Because the fine art of inner argument is this: nobody wins. When you argue with yourself, nobody wins. And I want you to explore and expand on being a winner in all ways. If you got gold today, obviously, this here's a crass commercial for ManifestingMasteryCourse.com. It is a 90-day program. It's $97, which means it's about $1 a day. Notice how that feels. Because we give you 90 very specific lessons. They come in a members-only email every day. A little recording, a little read-along, and hey, go play, and we'll see you tomorrow. Once every 7 days, most people send us an update because we give you ours and we ask for yours. You don't have to. But if you just want to send us a few sentences saying, hey, this is the best bit I got all week, this is how I'm running with it, we get to celebrate you. And that, to me, is what it's all about. That's ManifestingMasteryCourse.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being you. Thanks for having that curious nature and wanting to dive deeper, because Here's the cool thing. A lot of people think that you need confidence to change your life. I don't find that to be true at all. I find you need to become infinitely curious about who else you can be, what else is possible for you. Because when you become infinitely curious, that's when you stretch and that's when you soar. Have a lovely day. See ya.